Okay.
Mr. Mahoney.
Okay, did everybody get a chance to see The King of Comedy?
Yep.
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't. I was busy doing a bunch of stuff. Sorry.
Okay, well, for Terry's information, the Reader's Digest version
Hey,
is
Mike?
yeah. The Reader's
Did you
Digest.
click on the video thing?
Are you talking to me? Are you?
For me?
Oh, no,
Or
I think
Sanders?
I think he's got Sanders on the phone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Tell Teague to quit working.
Exactly.
Here, guy, you can try.
Well, anyway, Terry, this is a movie about two people who are obsessed with being fans of a Johnny Carson style talk show host in the early 1980s. The guy, Jerry Lewis, plays the talk show host by the name of Jerry Langdon, and De Niro is a ne'er-do-well stand-up comic by the name of Rupert Pupkin, and Sandra Bernhard is, and also another fanatic in the literal term of the word, as a fan of Langhorne. They hang out outside of his office. They pester him when he goes to his car, and Pupkin is trying to convince the talk show host Langhorne to allow him to be on TV to make his break so he can become a big-time stand-up comedian. The long and short of it is they successfully kidnap the talk show host. In return, the ransom is put him on television late night on the talk show, and they're not Bernhardt and De Niro are not going to release him until the segment airs at 11:30 that night in the regular slot for the Tonight Show, for lack of better terms. After the broadcast, and Rupert shows it to his love interest, who's a bartender in a dive bar in New York. Then he surrenders to the FBI and is sent to prison for 6 years. He serves basically 3 years of the 6-year sentence. He gets out. He writes a popular best-selling book and gets his own comedy special, billed as the King of Comedy. And so this is a movie about similar to Taxi Driver in the fact that it's somebody's life swirling down the drain. It also deals with obsession and celebrity. So that's the movie that you missed. This was written by a fellow by the name of Paul Zimmerman. It was a well-received movie by critics, but it was a flop at the box office. It cost $19 million to make. It made less than $3 million. Interestingly enough, Sandra Bernhard, who won an award for being the best supporting actress, not an Oscar for it, but best supporting actress, actually started her career and as a stand-up comic, basically doing a lot of celebrity jokes. She did celebrity and politics. It was also she was also very big on David Letterman's first late night show. She was a frequent guest of that, and coincidentally, Jerry Lewis's name by some people was he was called the King of Comedy. Back to Bernhard for a second. She was a regular for a while on the Roxanne program in the 90s, and she was the first actress to play an openly bisexual regular member of the cast. And she won the National Film Critics Award for Best Supporting Actress. Jerry Lewis won the basically the British version of the Oscars for Best Supporting Actor. I think I hope most of you know that in addition to being an actor, he was part of a very popular comedy duo with Dean Martin in the early 1950s, and then he went on to become a producer and a director, and he was one of the first people in Hollywood to use a process called video assist, which is basically they attached a set of video recorders to all the cameras that they were shooting a movie with, and then they could do a playback of the scene they shot instantaneously, rather than having to wait for the rushes to be developed over by the lab. And that went on to become an essential part of filmmaking. And he may not have been the very first one to do it, but it was certainly he was very, very early on and gets a lot of credit for instituting it. Lewis made 59 movies. This was not his last, but it was among his last. He died in 1991. A couple other interesting things. The guy who played the producer of the late night show was Fred DeCorvada, that was also the producer for many, many years for the Johnny Carson show. And what I did not know about him is I always thought he was probably part of the Carson or the Tonight Show organization. He started, he broke into big time TV as a director. He directed Jack Benny, the Jack Benny Show, Leave It to Beaver, My Three Sons, and the Smothers Brothers. And he also produced part of the Smothers Brothers. And he started with the Tonight Show in 1970 and through the end of the Johnny Carson era in May of 1992, and was held over as a consultant for Jay Leno's Tonight Show version for some time. I was telling Jeff G before we started here, I watched this movie many, many years ago. I think I probably caught the back half of it and was wondering what the hell this was, and then finally saw the whole thing, became pretty intrigued about it. And then always kept it in the back of my mind. I did not remember Jerry Lewis's character being as dominant on the screen as he was in this. I thought he did a hell of a job, and I'm not much of a Jerry Lewis fan at all. I do think it was interesting. This was a 1982-83 movie, so it was after Taxi. And like I said earlier, it was, in my mind, similar in the sense that it dealt with somebody's obsession and their crawl down the drain with that obsession. But in this case, Rupert Pupkin comes out on the top side of this and ends up becoming a celebrity in and of himself, which was pretty ironic. You never find out what happens to the Bernhard character, whether or not she continues just simply to obsess or she moves on with her life, or what happened to the Jerry Lewis character. One of the things I thought was interesting was, in order to dwell into the mindset of Rupert Pupkin, De Niro's character, there are several scenes where he's having these conversations on the settee of the talk show that are all in his head, and the only reason you can tell that it's a fantasy conversation is every once in a while his mom interrupts and calls him to dinner or tells him that he interrupts, but it's not. It's just sort of dropped into the thing rather than any sort of obvious dream or fantasy sequence. So I thought it was an interesting movie, or I wouldn't have picked it. And I thought the Lewis character was played well, and De Niro and Scorsese. This was their fifth collaboration together. Bernhard was solid as well, and I enjoyed the movie. I hope you guys did too. Your thoughts?
Sanders is having video problems, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. Mike, I had seen it,
Mahoney did.
1,000 years ago, and rewatched it, and I remember liking it the first time I saw it. Liked it because, I mean, I think Roger Ebert was the one that said they call it the king of comedy, but it's nothing funny at all about this movie. It's not funny at all. It's just, it's so uncomfortable. De Niro, I have to laugh at De Niro and the outfit. I mean, you know, that he wore. I don't know about you, but in Chicago, we used to call guys that wore a white belt and matching white shoes, we called that they were wearing a full Cleveland. And if they only had a white belt on or a white or they only wore the white shoes, it was a half Cleveland. You know, and it was kind I mean, it was like, and that when I saw him, that's what I was laughing about, is that, you know, he had those outfits. But the sad part is that, you know, it's sad because it seems like it's going that way, that anybody that celebrity becomes more important than the person that works to be a celebrity, and somebody just comes along and he becomes a celebrity when he should be, you know, in a mental institution somewhere. One of the things I read too, Mike, and I was interesting, is that they tried to get Johnny Carson to do that part. And I mean, can you imagine that part with Johnny Carson? Oh my God, everybody, I mean, it would have gone from that, you know, $3 million movie to a $30 million movie, I think, if Carson was in it. But I thought Jerry Lewis did a phenomenal job. I've always thought he's been underrated. I think he's an excellent actor. If you've seen, there's a few of his things, oh God, I can't remember, but it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde character that he played, where he was a real cool guy and then real dork. I forget the name of the movie, but he just did so well. I've always thought that he's been really underrated. He was smart, but everybody must have thought that it's a Jerry Lewis movie and it's going to be slapstick or whatever, you know. Anyway, I enjoyed it, but it's so uncomfortable, at least for me, when at the end, Pupkin gets his own show, and you know, when he makes money and all that. It just was, and of course it reminded me of what's going on, you know, today. You know, you get a celebrity that's a two-bit, you know, huckster, and he makes all this money just because, I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was really good. It was really a good choice. And I've always thought it was an underrated movie, and way better than people gave it credit for.
You know, you're talking about that being the full Cleveland dress. Back at about the time this movie was made, I was hanging out with just because I'm a baseball fan, and I had the opportunity to do it. I was hanging out in the Royals press box a lot, and then before that, the St. Louis Cardinals press box a lot. And the white shoes and the white belt were almost required apparel for middle-aged sports writers and broadcasters. They all wore them every damn day. It seemed like. So when I saw that, I instantly went back to those days when I would see these guys in the press box with them. But I like the half Cleveland description.
Yeah.
Didn't they have big
Cleveland
gold
or a full
checked
Cleveland
suits?
Yep.
Wide lapels.
Close this.
Yeah.
Hey, Sanders.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, there he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
We
You're
can hear
great.
you. Can't see you.
We got
All right.
two
Only
squares.
because
for you.
T came by and she's not a baby boomer. No, I'm kidding.
It's like you're still
That's our
trying to
one
log in on
description.
your laptop or one
Yeah.
or the other.
I finally did. Yeah.
I saw one review or description of this, and I can't remember if it was Ebert or not, that called this a wounded movie. I mean, it just
Mm.
seems like it was like Filmus Interruptus. He would be going on, and then then it would be the dream. And towards the end, I
Yeah.
didn't really know which ones were the dream and which ones were the real ones.
I can only
Yeah.
tell because he was
Lewis was
wearing a
great
different
in-
tie.
What's that?
Yeah,
He was
Oh.
wearing a different tie in the dream ones, but
yeah,
His hair
but
was
not
a
at
little
the
different.
end though. I don't think, right? Mike, I don't think it was at the end. I was looking to see if that was a dream at the end when he becomes the big star. And I was like, okay, is this a dream or not? But I couldn't see any difference. Now,
I believe that that was the reality, that he became that the book sold well, and then he ended up with his TV special.
That seems more like the dream.
Well, yeah, it does, but it also speaks to what Donna was talking about in terms of the style over substance with celebrity, 40 years ago, and it's 40 years worse now.
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And just as an aside, but there was I don't know if it was on Facebook or somewhere, but but I remember seeing it thinking it was man on the street interviews, and they were talking to these younger kids, and they were showing them pictures, and they showed them a picture of Reagan. These kids, and they probably were, I don't know, I'm going to guess 20, in their 20s, didn't know who it was. I mean, there were so many people that all of us would know immediately. And again, I recognize that there's an age difference. I'm sure that, but Reagan was a president of the United States, but every single one of them knew who the Kardashians were. And it was like that.
That was on Kimmel.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember thinking, oh,
well, that was
didn't
the late
know.
1900s. So.
The late 1900s. Yeah, I know.
Well,
Got us again.
I saw the same thing on X just a few days ago. They were holding up a picture of Mike Pence, and they were asking young people, "What do you think about Joe Biden?" And
Oh my God!
And these folks went ahead and said what they thought about Biden, referring to a picture of Mike Pence. So I mean,
Wow.
that's the president and fairly recent former vice president. So
it's scary. Yeah.
Didn't Leno do a thing where they went out on the street and interviewed people routinely and asked them simple questions, and they failed all the time.
All the time. It's so sad.
How can they pay so much attention to so many things and not know those things?
Yeah.
Although
exactly.
I always wondered during those jaywalking segments that Leno did, how many people they had to go through to get the buffoons.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Good point.
But I bet not too many.
You're an optimist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else? Who saw the movie?
Well, I enjoyed seeing some of the people from back in that day, that were famous. Tony Randall, Shelley Hack, Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat. It was I was reading some of Ebert's comments on it, and he said, after I read it, I realized it was true, is that it felt like nobody was listening to anybody else. They were all just waiting for their turn to speak, it was all just, nobody was really paying attention to each other. And like the De Niro character, he would not take no, wouldn't be dissuaded from his goal of, being a talk show hero, or not talk show, but a comedian or whatever. But no matter what. Yeah, right. Wait till tomorrow. But
Yeah.
My wife pointed out there was an unresolved issue. Did Sandra Bernhard suffer any legal consequences as Rupert did? She was
Good
part
question.
of the kidnapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't say it. You would assume that she was charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked like,
although she let him go.
she had enough money that she could probably get a good lawyer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
they give any background on what her wealth? Is it family? I assume she's a Nepo baby or.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't know. I
She
don't know
was-
that it was addressed other than it said that she was wealthy, and in real life, she was from a well-to-do, very conservative Jewish family. I know that.
What was her license plate?
I don't remember.
It
Mutha
was a
or
personal. It was a
something like
vanity
that.
plate on that Mercedes.
I don't remember.
Remember it either.
Like Mirtha or something like that.
What's a Nippo baby?
Nepo.
Nepo?
Like
Nepotism.
nepotism.
Just
Oh,
that
I got you.
your wealth or your fame comes from
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Intrigued by the Ed Herlihy character. I didn't realize he was the Ed McMahon before Ed McMahon when Jack Parr had.
Yeah. Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah. I think not only was Johnny Carson asked to do it, I guess Jerry Lewis was one of the last that they acted. And I can't remember, Mike, exactly, but I think it was Robert Redford and he didn't want to do it. Burt Reynolds didn't want to do it. There was a whole bunch of people that just weren't willing to do it. And then he finally got Jerry Lewis. But
I absolutely 100% understand why Carson didn't want to do that. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
I can, yeah, but oh boy, I can
no,
see why.
no, you're right. It would have turned it into a blockbuster movie, no question about it. But yeah, aside from doing almost a Walter Mitty thing with it, I'm sure he didn't want to give anybody ideas.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think of that, but you're right. Yeah, probably would have. Yeah.
Carson did produce a movie, The Big Chill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carson did?
Yeah.
Oh, and I love that movie. Oh,
He was
Wow.
pretty excited about it at the time. I remember he was hoping that it would get an Academy Award, but I don't think it did.
I don't know. I think it might have won something because
I think
that was
it may have been nominated, but
yeah, probably. Yeah. But it was good.
yeah, it was a popular movie at least.
yeah.
Mhm.
Widely popular.
Yeah. It spoke to everyone our age.
Yeah, isn't that the one where they played "You Can't Always Get What You Want" at the end of a funeral?
But the opening scene,
At the
actually,
opening.
I think.
Yeah.
The opening.
And
Yeah.
How they all came
Yeah.
together.
They were
and
putting the clothes on the corpse.
right. And
people were driving
Costner.
in and stuff.
That was Kevin
Yeah.
Costner's first appearance on.
And he
in a
never
movie.
and they cut him out. Yeah.
Right.
Just the legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
every
got
once in a while they would straighten his cuff, things like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was a good movie. Mike, thanks for picking it. I remember watching this before and not really getting it a long time ago. Much like you said, it came by my radar somewhere along the way, and I had a much better appreciation for it after I really sat down and analyzed it. But it seems like I read somewhere that Scorsese in a DVD commentary or something, when he was directly asked, is the ending a dream or not? He goes, I don't know, could be, could not. And he didn't really want to,
Oh, he didn't want to say.
he didn't commit.
Yeah. Huh.
He was also, from what I read, exhausted after doing 3 movies in a row, and he ended up hospitalized with pneumonia. And
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
he needed to rest. He'd done too many things. He did Taxi Driver, he did this one, and then he did, I think maybe Mean Streets or something. And
Is he still alive?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. He did Flowers of the Killer Moon.
Oh,
right. And he starred in that.
They both did.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
he had a little cameo role towards the end. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Scorsese's cat. He used to be quite the thing on the internet. It's a white cat, but he had big eyebrows like Scorsese.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
But yeah, Google that, Google Scorsese's cat, and you'll see some images there.
It's funny.
So Terry, I wasn't really there all along. How did you enjoy this or not?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, well,
It had a gun in it.
that probably, that you probably very, very much enjoyed that, not watching it.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I didn't see it, so how can I judge?
That's true. Chris,
Terry, did you run out of time or you were just not interested in it?
I just had a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I was just on a retreat this weekend. Totally, removed myself from regular activities this weekend. So I really have not been watching that many movies at all of any kind, anytime, anywhere. I'm just kind of burned out on movies right now. So
Are you watching Shogun?
that's just, oh, yay, there's one more, a new episode comes out tonight. Yay. Or today. That's about it. That's about the only thing I've been watching. And that's only because I read the novel in the 80s and then I saw what was his name? Richard, whatever, did the other
Chamberlain.
Shogun. That was, yeah, Chambers. He was, the pilot. So I'm watching that, but I just not drawn to movies right now. Kind of burned out on it.
Well, Mike, I'll
Except
speak
this
up.
movie. This is a good movie.
Can you hear me, Mahoney?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I didn't like it. It just went right out. It lacked continuity and I couldn't figure out what was a dream and what was real. And it's like, when is all of this going to come together? And it never did. It's like each scene was an individual movie. I had a hard time with it, and I don't know why, but that's my 2 bits.
Interesting.
I thought his stand-up was actually towards the end was pretty good, really. It was just as a straight sort of thing.
I thought he was. I don't know. I didn't like. I thought the stand-up was.
No, that was depressing.
Yeah. Well,
talking about his bad childhood and stuff. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's what most stand-ups do. I mean,
Yeah, but the way he delivered it, I was like,
think about Richard Lewis.
Yeah,
he made a whole career of that.
That's right. You're right. But De Niro, I don't know. I thought Jerry Lewis did a better job. I know you're going to think of it than De Niro in this one. I thought De Niro and I know he was supposed to be not good, and he wasn't. At least when I thought that stand-up stuff, I kept on thinking that laughter has got to be canned because who would be laughing at these jokes? But again, I'm coming from this guy as a wacko, and and I'm so upset that he gets his shot on TV, even though he's done it, with such bad intentions against Jerry Langford. So, but I have to say, Chris, I could see the difference, and I think Jeff brought that up. He would wear a different clothing when he was from reality to dream back to reality, and that's how I kind of knew that one was a dream and one was a reality. But that was the only thing I could tell the difference. But
I should probably do like Robert Ebert and watch it a second time.
Yeah. Really he really didn't like it the first time, and no, that's true. This was the second time I saw it, so I kind of knew what to expect, and I was looking at different things than the first time. Yeah.
One thing Ebert says, the whole movie is about the inability of the characters to get any kind of a positive response to their bids for recognition. And boy, that, that nails it right there in my mind.
Absolutely. But then he does. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Kind of what I would add is that I think De Niro did a really great job of being a mediocre, obnoxious guy.
Yeah. Well,
he
yeah,
took
that's true.
He carried
Yeah.
that mantle around the whole thing, and finally he got some luck out of the deal. But oh my God, I could hardly continue because he was driving me crazier than he was driving Jerry Lewis.
I'm
He,
with
Jerry Lewis also, I haven't really seen him do a dramatic acting role, but I thought he probably knew that world well enough that he didn't even have to act very much, because I'm sure there were people who were hangers on and, you know, cling to him and kind of sycophants and so forth that were just obnoxious around him all the time. So he just kind of had to touch that part of his world and carry that out. But he did a very good job of that, I will say. The movie just depressed me, and I felt like I was being sort of dragged through it a lot of times.
Well, Lewis had a talk show for a while, which I didn't know, and I can't ever remember that I saw it. But yeah, he had a talk show for a couple of years, and then I noticed also on the credits that they reached out and not only the Tonight Show, but asked for the Merv Griffin show that was also on TV and very popular at that time to sort of be technical assistance to him.
Yeah. I think one of the saddest things is when he had those cardboard cutouts of Liza Minnelli and Jerry Langford. And
his own studio.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
There was also a something about, trying to think of what was he there. One of the early scripts that were getting passed around was actually about a person who did a telethon. So it was really Jerry there in that case. I mean,
yeah, that's for sure.
They decided not to go with that script, but I think Lewis liked it because he was approached, and so
yeah,
that could have put a whole different face on the thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with a telethon script, it might have been even a little more plausible that somebody, could crash the set and be out there trying to do their bit in a chaotic telethon circumstance.
Yeah.
How many years did?
Go ahead, John. No,
I was going to ask, how many years did Jerry Lewis do his muscular dystrophy telethon? It's a long time, I know.
Something like 45, 46 years, maybe even 47, 46 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. From a time philanthropy, he was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he really was. And he was also a genius. He was a Mensa, I believe, member. He was really a genius.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And in France, they thought he was a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. So
here's some interesting hearsay that you might find funny. I don't know how true this is. Somebody, I don't know if I read it or I heard it or whatever. Jerry Lewis he's not alive, right? He's dead. He never wore the same pair of socks twice. Every time he had on socks, they were a brand new pair of socks. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of an interesting obsession if it's true.
There's a first world weirdness.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Attorney General of New York when the prostitute said he would always leave his socks on? Ellie Richardson.
It's dark fun.
Has anybody seen the Steve Martin documentary that's on Apple TV?
I started watching that the other night.
Yeah, I started
Steve
watching.
Martin in two parts. He didn't feel like he could do it entirely in one part. But if you talk about a guy that's self-deprecating and doesn't think he has any talent, There's the
know.
guy right there. To
He's
this day, he
amazing.
doesn't understand why he got as famous as he did.
Yeah.
He was on CBS Sunday Morning, and
What?
will lower your hand in 2 seconds.
Yeah, your hand was up.
Oh, I see.
I thought you were volunteering.
No, I just got Jeff to do it. So, by the way, 3 cheers for Jeff.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
do
that
anything.
young whippersnapper is the one that comes to the to the rescue.
Yeah, we'll see if this actually records or if I can get it to Bill.
May I ask the group a question? Is anyone else's picture freezing up periodically as we're on tonight?
No,
No.
No.
It's
that's a
my
bad
computer
sign.
still, but I'm watching the little icon and I've never lost by the icon lost connectivity, but I'm freezing like every 20 or 25 seconds. But
No, it's
that-
you.
it's me. Okay, fair enough.
But on Pete, on your transmission, you're not.
Well,
You're
good night,
not-
everybody.
Yeah, you're not freezing up like you have recently.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Not like
I
last
am on
week.
my end. I am on,
Yeah.
you guys are freezing up constantly.
So outgoing's good, incoming not so good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Damn. Okay.
Pete, who's your internet provider?
Uverse, ATT, Uverse.
Oh my God, they just got hacked. Did you know that?
I know. I read it.
Yeah,
I read it.
yeah, huge hack. And
Yeah.
retrograde too. So they got old records of people, not just current subscribers. So if you've ever had anything to do with AT&T, apparently you're at some risk for exposure.
Yeah.
But
Went
you
to the
kind of
dark
knew
web.
that anyway, didn't you?
Yeah,
Watching the dark web. The first time I got true internet was through AT&T when I lived out in the country in Pleasant Hill, Missouri. I just couldn't. It was dial-up. That was all I could do. And there was no lines or anything like that. And then there was a kind of a dead spot in the highway behind my farm, and they put up a tower there. And I found out it was an AT&T tower, and so then I was able to actually get internet because I could see the tower from where I was. And it was just like, wow, this is great. I don't have to wait 45 minutes to download one song.
Yeah. Well, I'm no IT person. I have several devices that rely on the internet, and this is the only device that appears to be affected. I got TVs connected, never have any issues. My phone is connected, never have any issues.
And
It's
I'd
a
say it's a
laptop?
laptop issue.
I think it's the laptop.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
Go buy yourself a new one.
That's thinking about a Mac Pro or something. Getting away from
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
yeah.
No, MacBook Air, unless you're doing videos or photography, graphics, art, or anything like that, you don't need a MacBook Pro. Get the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
Way
Actually, I'm in an
lighter,
industry where
way better.
I'm in an industry where I
Oh.
do look at a lot of art and graphics.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
why
Yeah, then you
Yeah,
need the
so you
pro.
need the
Yeah.
MacBook Pro then.
I'm leaning that direction. So well, it's a pain in the ass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, the good news to the world, you sound great. I'm sorry what
Yeah.
it looks like to you.
Yeah.
You should have a podcast, Pete.
Yeah.
He's Podcast Pete.
Yeah.
Or Peter Podcaster, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
hard to beat a little alliteration.
Yeah.
That's right.
Should we try recommendations?
Yeah. Let's go on.
Mine would be
Let's go on.
Steve in 2 parts. It's STEVE exclamation point, and then in parentheses 2 parts. It's on Apple TV. Each part is about an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes long. So it turns out to be about a 3-hour documentary, but it's fantastic.
This is the Steve Martin doc.
Yeah, I watched it over the weekend, both parts.
Hmm.
That would be mine.
He's a man that has much to be modest about. I'm not a big fan of his work. Some of it was clever, but a lot of it leaves me cold.
A lot of it was kind of juvenile.
Yeah.
But he was in the big year.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
There
Doesn't
you
that
go,
make
Pete.
him a star?
I'm sorry, you froze up.
Good one.
He went from stand-up to movie star, all on his own.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good banjo player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Excellent
good. Yeah.
banjo player.
And he's written books, plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you argue with Cruel Shoes? I mean, really.
That's all I need.
Good jerk.
What else? What have I?
The new phone books are here.
He did Roxanne too, didn't he?
He did.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A remake of
And he was-
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, that was good.
How about that nose there, Jeff?
Yeah.
Just calling your attention to it. Yeah, that's good.
That was a nose. That was a nose of note.
Yes. Yes, it was.
I think it was
The only
prosthetic.
thing I've watched is I started watching, and I don't know if I'm recommending it, but it's on Masterpiece Theater. It's called Nolly, and it's kind of like a TV, a woman that basically starts in TV in the late, 1939, right? Like the first woman in England that has color TV. I think it was 39 or 41 in that range. And now she's much older and she's getting canned. And so it's kind of like a Sunset Boulevard kind of thing. I've only watched one. I'm not sure, but it's Helen Bonham Carter plays the lead. And she's always good. I mean, I think so. Again, I don't know if I'm recommending it, but it is something that I started and I will continue to watch it a few more times for sure.
I also want to mention that Constellation, which was on Apple TV, has finished. So there were 8 episodes total, but so you can watch them all if you want to. It's got Rumi Napas as the star, and it's about time travel. And some of the reviews lately is that Apple is going to kind of get into sci-fi, where they've just really kind of dipped their toe into it, but now they think this is going to be a niche for them. But if you're at all interested in that sort of thing, they're all out now since I've finally made it to the end.
Okay.
What's the pick for next week?
Oh, good question.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
scared me a couple weeks ago, Jeff, when you had a 1974 movie starring Gene, you said, and Gene Hackman. I also have a 1974 movie starring Gene Wilder.
Oh.
So Blazing Saddles.
Oh man. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's
Oh, great.
it's 50 years old as well. And I hadn't normally when I'm going to do one, I pre-watch it, but I'm waiting on this to watch it this week. I want to see how the comedy and especially the satire holds up.
Oh boy. Wait.
Not so politically correct, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's the case.
I just saw, and I forgot to mention, I just saw I guess it was last Tuesday. Wilder, it's called I guess it's just called Wilder. And I saw it at the movie theater, and it's a documentary on Gene Wilder's life. And it's wonderful. It goes from his very beginnings and his acting and till he gets Anne Bancroft is the one that recommends him for the producers, Springtime for Hitler. And it's really good. There's just a lot of stuff in there, about Gilda, everything about it was just very good. It was one of those, and I didn't realize that he died of Alzheimer's. I just didn't realize it or remember it. And it's sad, funny, and it's happy, and it's all that. So it's a big recommendation. Definitely go see it. I think it's just called Wilder. I'm pretty sure, and it's
And
just
it's at the theater?
it's at it's kind of the theater that I went to is kind of a fine arts theater, so I don't know if it's all over. But it's relatively new, so I'm guessing it's going to be at the theaters if it isn't already.
Is it his
It's good.
grandson who's in the Bear?
Yes,
Or nephew?
Yeah, something like that.
it's his
Yeah,
grandson. Michael, what's his name?
yeah,
The Jeremy
I saw-
Allen white guy?
Right.
Yeah. Saw pictures of them together. I mean, the pictures were close together, and there is some resemblance there.
yeah.
What was his first big break? Was it The Producers?
Yeah, that was the first one. He did a show with Anne Bancroft and him on Broadway. So he had been stage acting for quite a while. And Anne Bancroft thought that he had a quality of being so innocent and likable. And she told her husband, Mel Brooks, she thought that, this is what I forget the character's name, but the accountant and the producers. Yeah. And as soon as he saw him, he read a few lines, and that was him, So and it just went on from there. Mel Brooks, of course, he did a lot with Mel Brooks, and then he went on to produce his own stuff and direct his own stuff and star in his own stuff and all that. But it's good. And Mel Brooks is in it a lot, so he has a lot of memories about him. I guess they were all very good friends.
did
Even
a lot
before
together.
he did producers, yeah. So
Well, there will be some N-words and some flatulence. So,
for sure. For sure.
Jeff, you may
Yeah.
not have been born when this came out.
I have seen it a few times. Yeah.
Gosh, that was so good.
Richard Pryor was asked to do that, and he passed.
Yeah,
on.
they wouldn't let him. Yeah.
He's a writer.
Hmm.
He's one of the co-writers.
Is he? Okay.
And in one of the interviews I was reading, they wanted to kind of tone down the N-word in it, and he
Yeah.
wanted all he could get. He said, you have to do that to confront what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how the satire plays out. I know it's not going to be politically correct and probably wouldn't be made today, which
Right.
is true of a lot of Mel Brooks stuff.
True.
But anyway, I hope we'll like it next week.
Oh yeah.
Harvey Korman is just hilarious in that.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I think I stepped out. We're doing Blazing Saddles next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else? Can't think of it.
Well, Jeff, thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks.
Yeah.
no problem.
I hope Bill's well enough to do it next week, but if not, I guess we've got a resource.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, thanks to your group. Is it the transplant group that has this?
Yeah, we have monthly meetings.
Yeah, well, tell them thank you for letting
Yeah,
us
we
camp
appreciate it.
on.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Mike.
Yeah.
Hope we're
Everybody
not
has to
knocking
say,
any-
go Huskies.
And if
hope
we
we're
have
not
to do
knocking
this-
anybody off on it needs a critical message to be delivered, like now.
No, it's just for our monthly support group meetings. So
And if Jeff has to do this again next week, the topic is going to be bone marrow and how you can work on building your bone structure. And then we'll get into Blazing Saddles.
that's right.
But,
Oh, that's
It's this message from the University of Washington.
yeah, go dogs. Thank you so much, Jeff. It was, I don't know why this Teague told me that this morning, that there's a way to do it where you don't even need it. And it doesn't just have to be that you take over somebody's whole Zoom. I mean, there is a way to use what we have and not have to have everybody get invited in. She works for the Attorney General's office and they do Zooms all the time and nobody invites anybody in. They just give them a link and they click on it.
Hmm.
So, but I figured if anybody knew, Jeff would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Jeff-
during COVID, the Missouri Department of Health, we have lots of Zoom calls. Some of them for people that were on the medical side of things, and it was easy for a reporter to jump on because there were 25 people on these things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Jeff,
I'm gonna
I think-
go watch the end of the Iowa LSU game just because I want to see how Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, it was tied at the half.
Well, I was up 11 now.
Oh, I
Good.
don't know. Wow.
Yeah, good. All right, I'm gonna jump
Easy.
off, folks.
All right, you guys.
All right,
Take
Okay.
it
See you
easy.
next
Thanks
week.
again, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thanks,
thanks.
Jeff.
thanks, Jeff.
And good pick, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mike.
All right, see you next
All
week,
right.
folks.
All right,
Bye. Bye.
bye.